A lot has been shared recently about the crime that was perpetrated against our school system, and I want to start out and thank a few folks first. Over the last couple of weeks, we have, and I and a few of my staff members, have really done nothing except focus on this matter. It is it's a serious matter. It's also one that makes all of us individually and collectively sick to our stomachs, because it's just one of those things. If you have it, we take the public's trust very seriously. But one of the things that has occurred, well, really two. The first is I want to thank Mr. Ed Petrovich, who's the county administrator. The way that he and his staff have reached out the hand to us, given that even though it was much smaller amounts of funds, to be willing to say, we want to work with you. We've had it happen to us on a smaller scale, and let's partner in trying to address it for the future. That has been extremely helpful, and we've already come together and formed an internal task force on the matter of making not only our financial systems more or less susceptible to any further cyber crimes, but really across the board working together to shore up those systems the best that we can. I do want to address the second thing that has meant a lot to me, and yeah, I don't want to get emotional. I can't talk about it, so I won't. I do really appreciate that the majority of folks that I heard from reached out in support, in prayer for not only me but our school system, and yeah, I have felt it. I also want to read something to everyone here. First, if I ever find that we have not done something that we're supposed to, I will address it. And if folks need someone to blame, I always will take that. And I didn't realize until really the last couple weeks that would be a weakness to be exploited. But as much as I hate appearing vulnerable right now, the people and the kids of this county and school system, they mean everything to me. Enough of that. The type of crime that was committed against us, we have had in closed doors meetings. We've realized that it wasn't just your typical phishing scam, and even though some information has been released, we didn't want to appear to not be transparent, but at the same time we did not want to do anything to potentially compromise the opportunity for those funds to be fully restored. And our law enforcement, both locally and at the state, have been simply superlative, and we have had a great working relationship with them over the last couple of weeks. And today we plan, probably following this meeting, to put out a statement that will again provide some update to our community about the progress that has been made. And they have given us permission to share it. And I do think it's important. It's a little bit more than what was shared when we put out a statement a week ago. The Virginia State Police has and continues to make significant progress with this ongoing criminal investigation. In order for our special agents to be as thorough as possible and to pursue this case to its fullest extent, we are asking for patience. A white-collar crime of this complexity can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months to resolve. This was a sophisticated phishing scheme that specifically targeted and victimized the school system. As a result, the state police has requested that the school division and county not release any specifics related to the case, as additional details would likely jeopardize the ongoing investigation and progress made to date. So we are certainly encouraged that they are indicating that they have made progress. And the one thing I can't provide specifics on is how both we and the county are specifically addressing ways to better safeguard against this for the future. The one thing that I can say with great certainty, it has received our continued keen and continual focus over the last few weeks. I also want to thank both of the folks that spoke tonight to provide some feedback. I know Mr. King has left. I appreciated that he actually laid out what an internal auditor job description looks like. I appreciate that. One of my first years as superintendent, I know we had initially put that position in, and I think he was appreciated what he said about, while it's not another fail-safe, I would certainly and continue to be open to any way to bolster our staff. Right now we have folks that continue to have such volume and not necessarily enough capacity. But to give folks a brief history on that, and I understand these things can be cyclical, but when I first started as superintendent, what I heard from folks, and some of the same folks that will now say we need to bolster finance staff or internal auditor, was that there was too much money in administration and central office, and that we needed to put money in the schools and in the classrooms. And while I knew that that was a very broad stroke, one of the things that I committed to, we committed to, was to make sure that our schools and classrooms had every possible resource before we put something in at the division level. And in fact, the very first budget that I oversaw and the board approved was one that cut over 1.2, 1.3 million from nothing but division level staff. And so when I hear that the money does not go where it's supposed to, obviously that is hurtful, and especially when you know that it's not accurate. But I do appreciate how hard our staff works and the results that we get on a pretty lean running machine. And so I hope that that has helped some folks. I also want to thank folks that do reach out to me and know that my door is always open. I'll come to a community and talk. And I know most of my staff and our elected officials are the same. Finally, I didn't have, throughout these past couple weeks, but especially this past week, I didn't have anyone call me as a parent or a concerned citizen or contact me by email. I only received support. I know that there was another world going on, which is one of the reasons I was getting nice feedback. There was something that would have been like a horror film for me if I watched it on social media. But I just want the folks in this community to know that your support and your advocacy is never taken for granted. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Baker.